Hey there, friend. I'm thrilled you found my channel. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and share this video. It means the world to me. Let me know where you're watching from in the comments. Let's dive in. Jenna and I were never the kind of couple who thrived on chaos. We didn't shout, didn't trade barbed words across rooms, and certainly never aired grievances where others might witness. After 6 years together, we had found our rhythm. Suburban life, just outside the city. 2 demanding jobs, shared expenses, alternating who cooked dinner. It wasn't magical, but it functioned. Efficient. Steady. That night happened to be a Thursday. Jenna had grilled salmon, and I had poured 2 glasses of wine. We were at the kitchen table, both worn down by the day, distractedly poking at our food while scrolling through our phones, just the usual lull when speaking feels like effort. Then she said, out of nowhere, "You know what I think people make too big a deal out of?" I looked up. "What?" "Infidelity," she said, her voice as level as if she were noting a bus delay. My hand paused mid-air, fork in limbo. "What do you mean?" She gave a nonchalant shrug. "I mean, yeah, it's not good, but people treat it like it's the end of the world, like one bad decision wipes out everything that came before. Personally, if love's real, you should be able to move past it." She took a sip of wine, then went right back to whatever was on her screen. What stunned me wasn't the opinion, it was how casually she said it. Calm, measured, as if she'd thought about it long before this moment. I said, "If someone I cared about betrayed me, I'm not sure forgiveness would come naturally." She just shrugged again. "That's fair, but nobody's perfect, Felix. People screw up. I just don't see the point in throwing away something good because of one mistake." I watched her, really watched her. The way she spoke like we were discussing which brand of toothpaste to buy. That's when I realized she wasn't speaking in theory. This was her way of opening a door, and something inside me changed. I didn't shout or accuse, I just started seeing things more clearly. We didn't bring it up again. No follow-up from her, no pressing questions from me. The conversation disappeared like smoke, there, then gone. But I remembered, and I started noticing the small things. Change doesn't slam into your life. It tiptoes in. Jenna began working late more often. Not enough to raise alarms, just 30 minutes here, an hour there. She said her department was understaffed, that her manager, Monica, was piling too much on her plate. I didn't push back at first. Then one evening, when she came home and I leaned in for a kiss, she turned her head. Said she felt gross from the commute. Reasonable. But the next week, it happened again. And again. After the 3rd time, I stopped leaning in. One Saturday, while folding laundry, she was chatting about her job and casually mentioned a name I didn't recognize. "Noah covered my shift Friday," she said, smiling faintly. "He's hilarious. Honestly, the only reason anyone's still showing up." "Noah?" I asked, glancing up. She nodded. "Yeah, the new senior analyst. You'd like him. No small talk, super smart." I let it slide, but something about the way she said his name stuck in my head. The smile she gave, subtle, restrained, but unmistakably genuine. Too genuine. The next Thursday, she told me her team was going out for burgers and drinks after work. "Don't wait up," she said with an easy smile. So I didn't. She came home just past midnight, tossed off her shoes, and headed to the fridge like it was any other night. But I caught a whiff. It wasn't her usual perfume. It wasn't even one I recognized. Stronger, edgier, more masculine. She saw me sniffing the air. "What?" she asked. "New scent," I replied. She gave a breezy smile. "One of the girls let me try hers. It's unisex. Kinda different, right?" I nodded, said nothing. That night, lying in the dark beside her, I stared up at the ceiling, the word echoing in my head. Unisex, huh? By the time the next week rolled around, I wasn't wondering anymore. I was watching. I started with her car. The keys were still on the hook where they always were. That Saturday, while she was upstairs showering, I slipped into the garage. I didn't go for the glove box. I checked the spot no one thinks about, the door pocket. That's where I found it. A valet stub, slightly creased at the edge. Not from a restaurant, not a hotel. Just a location. A condo building I'd never heard her mention. I snapped a quick photo and slipped it back exactly how I found it. If it went missing, she'd know. I wasn't ready to confront her. I didn't want excuses. I wanted clarity. That same afternoon, I ordered a GPS tracker. Small, magnetic, barely bigger than a thumb drive. I placed it beneath her bumper. Next step, audio. We had this old tablet we mostly used for recipes and background music. It was still synced with her phone, something she'd forgotten. I installed a recording app that activated when it detected voices, then left the tablet on a shelf in our bedroom. First night, no sounds. Second night, silence. On the third night, while I was at the gym, it finally picked something up. Later, once she was asleep, I slid out of bed, grabbed the tablet, put on headphones, and pressed play. Her voice, "No, he doesn't know. I've been careful. I deleted everything." Then nothing. Then came a faint, hushed laugh. "Friday works for me. Same place," she had texted. "I'll be wearing that gray dress you like. Don't keep me waiting this time." That gray dress. She'd worn it not long ago. Said she had a client dinner that evening. I closed the app, removed my earbuds. No rage, no disbelief, just focus. I had a task now. Track down Noah. The location history was unmistakable. 2 Fridays in a row, her car parked outside a downtown condo from 7 p.m. until nearly 10:30. I checked ownership records. The condo belonged to a holding company, but the listed resident? Noah Emerson. Senior analyst. Office clown. Jenna's teammate. I dug deeper. LinkedIn, Instagram, but he kept a low digital footprint. Eventually, I uncovered a group photo from a birthday gathering. Noah in a pale blue shirt, casually resting his arm on Jenna's shoulder. Everyone grinning. Her body tilted slightly toward him, not obvious unless you knew the signs. That night, I replayed the recordings I'd collected. This time, the microphone picked up a new detail. Jenna's voice, quieter than usual, different. "I keep thinking about that night," she murmured. "I can still smell you on me." A soft laugh followed. "You'll get us caught," she whispered next. Then, almost inaudibly, "If I had to choose, I'd choose you." The weight of those words landed heavy. I leaned back, earbuds dangling, staring into empty space. This wasn't a careless mistake, it was intentional. They weren't simply hiding an affair, they were imagining a future together. The most bitter part? She was still going through the motions perfectly. Our morning routine, casual kisses goodbye, light-hearted texts. All of it performed, all of it false. I knew what had to happen next. I needed a partner in this, a co-conspirator equally deceived. Noah's wife. Her name was Morgan Emerson. I found her tagged in one of his old pictures. Her profile was locked down, but she had a professional page. Interior designer, sleek website, a contact number listed clearly. I used it. "Hi, this is Felix Hartman. We need to talk. It's about Jenna and Noah." Her response was quick, barely 10 minutes. "I know who you are. Where should we meet?" We arranged to meet the following afternoon at a quiet cafe west of downtown. She was already seated when I arrived, hair pulled back neatly, no makeup, composed. "Appreciate you coming," I started. She met my gaze steadily. I suspected for a while, just needed someone to confirm it. There was no pretense between us, no dramatic outburst, just two strangers sharing the same raw wound. She slid her phone across the table. The screen showed a conversation thread between Jenna and Noah. "Gray dress again. Couldn't keep my hands off you," Noah had written. "You're a bad influence, and I love it," Jenna replied. "Does he suspect anything?" Told him I was working late. He believed it, naturally. "Unbelievable," I whispered. Morgan tapped the phone again, showing a new image. Jenna and Noah standing outside a building's entrance. His hand resting low on her back, comfortable, territorial. "Last Friday," Morgan said quietly. "I followed him." I nodded slowly. My GPS log showed Jenna's car parked there that same evening. We sat together in silence for a while, the weight of everything sinking in. Then she broke it. I've already consulted a lawyer. I was just waiting for solid proof. This is more than enough. She handed me a folder, neatly arranged, methodical. Photos, screenshots, dates, times. Use whatever you need, she said. I'm not interested in theatrics. I just want closure. Same here, I replied. We agreed to stay in touch but not confront them yet. Let them think their lies were still working. I gave it 3 more days, not to gather more evidence. I already had enough. I waited so that when the moment arrived, I'd be calm and in control. She walked in that evening around 6:45. Hey, she called out lightly. Traffic was brutal tonight. I'm starving. Should we order dinner? I sat at the kitchen table, tablet in front of me, Morgan's folder beside it. We need to talk, I said evenly. Her cheerful expression flickered. She slipped off her shoes slowly and took a few steps forward. Okay, what's going on? I gestured to the folder. I know about you and Noah. She froze where she stood, her face blank for a heartbeat, then, what are you talking about? I know everything, I continued. The condo, the messages, the Friday nights you claimed to be working late, the gray dress. I watched her eyes shift as she tried to assess the situation, whether to deny or explain. Felix, whatever you think this is, you're mistaken. Without another word, I rotated the tablet toward her and tapped play. Her voice filled the room. Not if we're careful. I opened the folder and pointed to the photo. Her and Noah outside the condo, his hand resting intimately on her lower back, her smile carefree and warm. The fight drained from her posture immediately. She collapsed into the nearest chair, shoulders hunched forward, the facade falling away. She didn't cry, at least not right away. It wasn't supposed to happen, she whispered after a long pause. It started with venting. He listened. You were always so distracted. I remained silent. He made me feel understood, she added weakly. And yeah, it went too far, but it didn't mean anything. I met her gaze steadily. He's married, I said quietly. Does that mean anything to you? She flinched when I spoke. Then, just as expected, the tears arrived, perfectly timed, almost rehearsed. I was already halfway out the door in my mind. I meant what I said, I interrupted her. Spare me the edited version, I said. I know how this ends. She reached across the table toward me. I recoiled. I'm leaving tonight, I said plainly. Don't follow me. She stayed frozen in place, standing in the hallway, as I stepped into the bedroom to zip up a bag. The silence between us wasn't heavy. There was no charge in the air, just finality. I rented a small, furnished place a couple neighborhoods over. Quiet, unassuming, no nosy neighbors, no familiar faces. That same night, Jenna texted, first a simple, "Can we talk?" Then, "I'm sorry. I don't want this to be how we end." I didn't reply. The next morning, I blocked her number, informed the office I'd be working from home for a few days. Then I spent most of the day staring at a blank wall, waiting for the emotional static to clear. It wasn't rage, it wasn't sorrow, it was something colder, contempt. A few days later, Morgan sent a short message. It's over. Papers served this morning. I responded, good, stay sharp. That was all we said. Just the essentials. The kind of words you exchange with someone else who watched their life unravel in real time. Meanwhile, Jenna tried getting through to me in other ways, through my sister, then through mutual friends. She regrets it, they told me. She realizes it was a mistake. What you had was real. I kept my silence. No explanations, no defense. Why should I? The longer I held my tongue, the more obvious it became. She wasn't sorry about the choice she made, just sorry it had consequences. I retained an attorney and filed for separation. No dramatic scenes, no shouting, just documents and signatures. I didn't ask for the house. The furniture held no meaning. I wasn't seeking revenge, just a clean break. I wanted to remove my name from hers. When the lawyer asked if I wanted to include the evidence, audio, screenshots, the messages, I declined. There was no need to prove anything anymore. We both already knew the truth. Let her sit with it. let her justify it to herself each night. 2 weeks went by. I hadn't seen her, hadn't heard her voice. The silence was surgical, precise. Then, one Monday night, I returned to the house to grab the last of my things. Legal had confirmed it was safe to go. She'd be at work. I was there for a few documents and some personal effects. The house was undisturbed, nothing touched, but on the kitchen counter, a folded note waited with my name on it. Jenna's handwriting. I stared at it a moment, then slipped it into my bag without reading. I wasn't about to let her words undo me. Back at the apartment, I sat on the edge of the bed and finally opened it. It was short, a single page. She wrote that she'd be moving out by month's end, had already asked for a transfer at work. She admitted she couldn't undo what she'd done, but she wanted me to know she was sorry, not for being found out, but for breaking the bond between us. She closed with this: "If you ever decide to forgive me, I'll accept that. If you don't, I'll carry the weight. Either way, I hope you find peace." I folded the note with care, placed it back in the envelope, and tucked it deep into a drawer. I didn't destroy it. Some things are best left unanswered. Weeks went by. The legal process wrapped up. My name came off the deed. Her mail stopped arriving. Then, on a still Sunday, I found myself at the park Jenna and I used to visit when things were new. I remembered the first time we came here, how she clung to my arm because the path by the pond made her nervous. She called me her safe place, and I believed her. Now I sat alone on that same bench, and it hit me. Losing her didn't start the moment I found the proof. She had been gone long before that, before the messages, before the lies unraveled. What I lost was the image I chose to hold on to. That version of her, that's what I buried. Love, I realized, isn't what holds a relationship together. Trust is. And when trust dies, you either walk away, or you let it poison what's left. I chose to walk. And for the first time in a long time, I felt clean.